And I am a sicky boy, Colin. I'm here, test, 1, 2, 3.
Balls.
Welcome back to the DimecomicBros podcast.
We're testing, we're not even doing.
You pulled the same trick on me a couple weeks ago.
No, you didn't even put it in. Yeah,
Yes,
I did,
I
but
did.
you actually put it in.
I did! That was our opening.
Colin, you never listened back, so you wouldn't even know.
Wow, I didn't even know. Wow, well, welcome back to the Sicky Boys podcast
Testes.
with your host, Sicky Boy, here.
Sicky Boy is joined by Jacob, me, hello, and Spencer.
Hello.
Hello. We are here to talk to you about many topics. We are sharing every topic today. It's been a while since we've done that.
It's a communism episode, baby.
It's our topic,
our
comrade.
topics.
It's always our topics.
Why buy a comic that might cost more than a dime? Come meet the brothers who are here to waste your time.
The first one on the docket would be Constantine from 2005, starring Keanu Reeves and Rachel Weisz
Yep.
and Tilda Swinton and Peter, some guy with a last name.
And Gabrielle.
And Shia LaBeouf.
Oh yeah, Shia LaBeouf. I like to forget about him.
It's directed by Francis Lawrence. Written by Kevin Brodbin and Frank Cappello. The official synopsis reads, the film stars Keanu Reeves as John Constantine, a cynical exorcist with the ability to perceive and communicate with half angels and half demons in their true forms and to travel between hell and earth. So basically, I compel you, now get the fuck out.
Ooh, it's also got Jimon Hanzu.
Yes.
So,
he's been in comic book movies for so much longer than people think.
Peter Stormare was the guy I was trying to think of.
I want to start off with talking about Constantine as a character in this movie in comparison to how he normally is. He is very PG-13 for Constantine, meaning he's not as rough around the edges. Constantine is literally at this point in his career and life, he's not as cynical and as manipulative as he usually is known to be. So, as a character in that way, he's very different. But visually, he's different as well. But it doesn't matter. I think the most thing to me, now, not from when I first saw this, but from now, and knowing the character, is that he is not like the comics in that way. And that's not a bad thing, actually. It kind of seems like it makes sense where he would be softer since he's closer to death. I don't know why I feel that way, but that's just how I feel.
So the reason why I hesitated when you said that was because I get what you're saying in terms of PG. Obviously, it's still an R-rated movie, but
it was more of just a comparison, not an actual.
Yeah, because he is less cynical, kind of in this movie, I guess, but in comparison to the comics, but he's aesthetically more broody because Constantine in the comics, typically speaking. Yeah, he can be silent and broody, but he's usually loud and obnoxious because he's constantly deflecting. Not a great comparison, but Deadpool's chronically depressed. He's not okay. He makes jokes for a reason. And that's kind of what Constantine does, is he attacks people, he makes jokes, and he just demeans everybody because he's not doing so hot on the inside versus this one's just kind of contemplative. He keeps a lot of that stuff on the inside.
That's why I said PG-13, because how I take it, at least, is when someone is deflecting, it's actually emotionally more harmful than it is to just keep it to yourself and brooding. It's harmful for yourself to keep it to yourself and but when you attack other people and you put that on someone else, that's harmful outward. Right. And so that's why I feel like this guy is more PG-13 in that sense.
It's a interesting adaptational choice. So I think I talked about this last season. It was a while ago, but I had recently rewatched this, and I used to not like this movie a lot. And then on my last rewatch, I kind of love it. It's got lots of flaws and stuff, but the thing that kind of ties in with Constantine being different is this is a very different aesthetic, the aesthetic for this movie, not just in terms of visuals, but the choice in mythology is very different than what the Constantine comics usually lean into. It has a lot more Catholic stuff in it. It also involves things from further down south of the border. We're getting more than just a lot of the Constantine stuff that I'm familiar with. Obviously, one, he's from England, so that's an entirely different thing. But
the England.
The England.
England is my city.
Yeah. He's very different time and place. But this movie is very drenched in extended Catholic fake lore. basically.
Yeah.
Whereas the comics they exist in their weird limbo for most writers where they're kind of just making stuff up. Like, they don't try, usually, to take either pre-existing, for the sake of conversation, lore, meaning like scriptural doctrine or whatever.
Yep. It's the same thing as like the Hellboy movies, where it's like, I'm gonna infuse these bullets with the sweat of St. Paul's balls.
I love that shit.
That's actually a really good comparison, and also they came out in the same time period, whereas I think Hollywood had a big thing for this type of religious adjacent type movie where it's like, this is clearly not supposed to actually be religious. It's an aesthetic choice.
I think that's why I like it so much.
I agree with you.
Because
I
it's like
that.
it's so far from the truth of what my own religion is, or like what relates to my religion, that it's like so like it's not blasphemous.
No,
so
it's
like
not.
I don't take any offense, and I think it's super cool. Where I'm like, damn, I wish that was true.
Yeah,
it's like it's to that point where I'm like, damn, I wish I could actually do that. Like have the sweat from my Saint Paul from his balls.
It's very interesting, and I just it kind of bleeds into the rest of the movie, where it's not just the visual choices, but also like the casting choices and the tone and stuff. It just kind of it doesn't feel like a Constantine comic. And that's fine, because I don't think it violates any of the tenets of being like a good Constantine adaptation. But
no,
it is definitely an adaptation.
I have always loved this movie. There are many parts that had to have grown on me. Obviously, the black hair and the no trench coat. That's whatever.
No trench coat gives me depression.
I love the trench coat.
It could have been a black trench coat just to be more Matrixy about it, and it would have been fine.
Yeah, but to move into the visuals.
That's what I want to talk about. I was watching really closely this time, and there's just so much attention to detail and things that they don't even expand on. They're like when Rachel Weisz shows up at Constantine's apartment for the first time to say, "Hey, I have a problem and I need your help." There's like writing on his door jamb, like all around his door, and it's just barely in frame, and they never ever show it. There's just so many little things like that add detail that you hardly notice unless you're looking for it.
Yeah, it's like that world. It's a world exists in there, and it's like I like that because when you go to other places and you like exist outside in the real world, and you go to other places, there's so many things that are there but you don't notice because they just exist and they've been there for such a long time.
Right.
That it's the world. It's a world building thing, and to go on into this world. Visually, talk about visuals, I really enjoyed, or I was actually very okay with there being like bad like CGI or not like amazing CGI because everything that happened was so interesting.
Yeah,
it was so interesting where the CGI didn't need to be good.
And I would argue that there weren't too many bad CGI shots. Like most of it still holds up really, really well.
There's for sure. There's some stuff that's just.
But that I mean, it wasn't like, blended in with the real world as
right?
well.
Yeah, like
but that's fine.
There's the fully CG demons and like the human body stretching stuff, like things like that are very like mid 2000s haven't aged super great.
Oh, and when Satan was taking him and he was like cracking.
Yeah,
like that looks so cool. Like as an idea of the visual. That it was so cool and interesting that I was so fine with like everything looking like it was drawn.
It's more of a thing that our brain has adapted to because we're used to those particular like types of filmmaking technology having developed so much by now.
For sure.
Versus a lot of the other stuff, it's just like it's some polish and like the it's not like this hasn't aged to the extent where it's like a Lord of the Rings type deal, but like it has the similar like sometimes there's a shot where you're like that was definitely fake, but like it's not egregious. It doesn't do anything weird. It's clearly like very effortful work, and I think it makes an interesting contrast to the handful of times where it is really low effort, like the opening text and the location titles are like Arial font white.
I think that's the only bad part about the movie. Actually,
it's certainly one of the weird. It's like that definitely. It might have had like a rushed editing process or something because I didn't have time to polish that up, but like. Yeah, I don't necessarily dig the aesthetic of this movie like the whole time, visually speaking. There's some stuff I appreciate. I don't like there's some things I'm like that just doesn't fit in my brain. But like
so like are you going to move on to the props, you mean?
Yeah, like
as in like the Christ the
Jesus
Christ gun. Jesus gun. I was actually going to go into that.
I love the Jesus gun.
So I do love the Jesus gun. I think it's whether it's on purposeful or not, I really enjoy the grotesque amount of like geometric shapes, which is the cross, on like
everything.
Yeah, I think it's funny, but I think it's a good thing that it's funny because
for sure.
That's like how John is. It's just it's stupid funny.
Yeah, no, for sure. There's a lot of stuff like that. It's more of, I think there are a few clashing aesthetics in this movie that don't blend really well. So we have the general like Catholic churches and like library stuff. We have like those types of things which we're all really familiar with in the real world.
Yeah.
Meshing with some different types of body horror that I don't know. It's a vibes thing. Like some things just don't feel like they gel quite right. Whereas you have the opening in, I think it's Mexico, like somewhere down south of the United States. Like that opening and that aesthetic, it just there's something. It's hard to nail down because I haven't thought about it too much. But there's something about
sepia.
Not necessarily just Mexico filter, but like the hospital with the church. I don't know. There's a clash that's going on, and I don't know if it's because of the very mid-2000s aesthetic, which I usually like. I don't know. There's something in my brain that's just not 100% clicking.
All right.
But I appreciate what it's going for. It's just some stuff, could use some tweaks. But, like, that's art. Art's not perfect.
No. Art is constant. With art, you either have to just let it be or keep working on it until to the point where no one's ever going to see it.
Yeah, exactly. If art is perfect, if somehow you've perfected something you're doing, it's not really art anymore because art is communication.
And art is emotion. It's a communication of emotions and vibes
to other people, not just to yourself.
People, whether people relate to it or not.
So nothing is going to be perfect. It can't, by definition, be perfect. Because everyone interprets things at least a little differently based on life experiences and knowledge and shit.
But art can be good or bad.
Of course. But like the aesthetic is pretty good, and this movie has its own sense of style. That's my point. It's not my sense of style, but the movie has got the vibe down. What it wanted to do.
The cast is very good.
Yes.
I believe every role is like a perfect fit, either written for the cast or the cast was just cast perfectly. But like there wasn't a poor performance,
even by a child actor.
Yeah, even Shia LaBeouf
is like fine.
It's probably his best role.
I think that's my favorite Chaz. Honestly, whenever I see, it could be because my first thing of Constantine that I ever watched or read was this. It's what got me into knowing what Constantine was, but what got me into Constantine was the show. And no matter what, I still like young Chaz more than older Chaz, even though older Chaz is the norm.
You know how Shia chose what roles he was offered?
What?
He would just tell himself to just do it.
Oh my fucking word. Okay, with that comment, what do you guys rate this movie as?
I'd probably give it a 4 out of 5.
So we collectively agree that this is at least a good movie.
It is definitely a good movie.
It is a good movie.
Yeah.
It is a good,
it does what it sets out to do.
It is a good movie where we can rewatch it and not feel gross about it.
Oh, absolutely. It is.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Good. I wouldn't say great.
No, me neither. It's not great.
It doesn't make my top 25 favorites.
No.
It makes my top 10 like 2000s movie.
Yeah. In that era of stuff. It is
because that's just the stuff I grew up with, and that's what I love. Like I love Underworld. I know it's stupid. I love Underworld and Hellboy. It definitely feels like a directorial debut, and it is, and I think that kind of shows through. It's done by a competent director with seemingly minimal actual movie experience, but it is definitely like a passion project, and despite some either lack of refinement or like I wouldn't say sloppy, nothing like that, but like there's some parts that are definitely like lower effort than other ones. It's definitely good. It's like, I don't know, I hate numbers are cringe and gay, but it's like a 7. So I give this a 5 St. Paul's balls out of 7 satinous toes.
Oh, okay, that works.
Black toes.
Do you want to speculate a little bit about the sequel?
I have no idea.
Don't
because this movie.
Because I don't want to go into this expecting anything. I
That's
want to
fair.
just jump in, so I'd rather not speculate.
Do you think other people will return? Like the priest with the eyes in the beginning, or Rachel Weisz, or
Yeah,
Shia
he
LaBeouf,
died,
or...
I think they'll leave Shia LaBeouf. Okay, so I'll go through the cast, and I'll go through what Constantine will look like.
We have specifically been told that
Tilda Swinton.
Constantine and Satan are going to be the same.
So
and that's all that we got.
And that's fine. And then everyone else is dead, which is what I'm going to say as...
No, Gabriel didn't die.
Gabriel's a human, though.
Yeah.
Gabriel drowned herself. By interpretation, she drowned
around
herself.
as a human, though. And there was a lot of shit talk between the two.
What I just said was, last time that when they separated, she dunked herself in the water. Interpretation is that she killed herself.
Yeah. Which yes. I think that's what specifically Gabriel was set up to do, was like, I'm not going to kill you myself, but like, yeah, you're going to end up in hell. Because they're going with the whole Catholic suicide bad thing.
Yeah,
you know?
So, and Constantine and how he looks, I think Constantine's going to come. I want to see how come. I think Keanu Reeves is not going to shave his hair. He's not going to cut it, because he never has, after a certain point, and he's going to have facial hair. I changed my mind on that. And hopefully, I think they'll add a trench coat to his black suit attire.
I think I would like a black trench coat. I don't want to see Keanu in the tan one. I think the tan one would be kind of weird.
No.
I think they should... I don't feel like it's going to be like a direct sequel. It's obviously like a literal direct sequel. I don't think it's going to be like picking up on the plot points. It's like it's going to be 20 years later,
different adventure.
He's doing something else with different people, and
that's what I was getting at too.
Do you think he's going to die?
No.
Like actually die?
No. I think if they're willing to resurrect an unpopular movie that like kind of broke even and isn't viewed super great in the cultural zeitgeist, I don't think they're going to bank on like emotions out of it. I think they're gonna go.
What about Blade Runner?
Blade Runner is the biggest cult classic of all time.
Yeah, it was huge when it came out, and
it's also not a fucking superhero movie.
No, but a cult classic means that it wasn't that popular
when it came out, and then it became popular. Blade Runner bombed initially, and then as soon as the better cuts came out, it was huge. It made a whole subgenre.
Okay, I don't want to talk about it anymore.
You ask the dumb question, you get dumb answers.
Shut the fuck up and put some socks on your feet.
It would be cool if we got other DC characters too.
No, I'm sorry.
I think I like him being in his own bubble.
I would be fine if we got a little glimpse of Sandman, literally like for one frame or like
saying
a second.
Just C-tier heroes, like you see in Batman Damned
Nope.
or whatever else, like Underworld, freaking no-name DC characters.
Oh no, I do know one. Deadman.
Yeah.
Deadman would be okay.
Like Zatanna would be too big.
So,
I want something less than that.
I don't want the implication that this either A, takes place in the continuity we know of, or B, can have the capability of connecting to any other continuities. You see, that's the one.
That's not what I said, though.
It's not about what you're saying, but what he's saying is that if you put any DC character, even if they're not big, because we have some ones that exist in continuity that aren't big, like Calendar Man. Even though we have these small ones, people are fucking dumb, they will interpret it as, is this part of this movie? Because they can't
fix
distinguish.
People. I don't...
Yeah, but you cannot give stupid people ammunition. Most other characters in the universe it begs the question, if it's, whoa, this movie has, Condiment King, where is Batman? Because he's a Batman character. It begs a question. So something smaller like
have to be bigger than the idiots and just not make a movie because of the idiots.
No, because there's too many idiots and they're going to be spreading shit all over the internet. We don't want bad reception. We don't want people to get too confused because there's too many idiots.
Was it also
and they're too loud?
Damned that had Constantine and Swamp Thing in the cemetery.
Yes, but those are comics.
That was great.
That was awesome.
Yes, it was great, but that was
would be
comics.
okay with
It's
Swamp
different
Thing
beast.
briefly, in some capacity.
See? That's
my limit.
Yeah, he's a C tier. It's fine, and also a canceled show.
That is a gay opinion. He is not C tier. He's one of the only people currently having an ongoing book at
Spencer.
DC. He's not a C list. Come
Spencer.
on, be better than that.
Spencer. He is C list, but that doesn't mean he's not on my C list.
Oh, that's what I'm saying is he's popular because he has a whole ongoing book. So he can't be a C-list if he's popular as shit.
I still got what I wanted. Deadman and Swamp Thing would be cool to include in Constantine.
The scales of fans, okay? There are more of stupid than there are of actual people that care. The actual people that care are in comics. The stupid and loud ones are the ones in movies.
Yeah.
C tier means them, not here. Okay?
Speaking of Swamp Thing, we got to see a cool Man-Thing.
We did get to see a Man-Thing.
I love Man-Thing. He is super wholesome.
Colin has discovered his new autistic personality trait for the next 3 months. We watched Werewolf by Night, the Disney Plus...
I found my other altar.
Yeah, you did. The Disney Plus Halloween special of sorts. It is under the label of Marvel Studios Special Presentation. It follows a secret group of monster hunters as they compete for the Bloodstone while going up against a dangerous monster, which is Man-Thing. So we knew about this thing like a while back, but it was leaked that they wanted to do like a spoopy Halloween thing, and then nothing really came of it for a while, and then they're like, oh yeah, by the way, the composer's making it, and then we got the casting, and then boom, it happened. So like, the turnaround on this is kind of crazy.
And to have such a fast turnaround and such a great product is extra crazy. It's crazy on top of crazy.
It is.
It's made as a loving homage to the classic Universal monster movies.
Yes.
It's mostly black and white. It's got the film grain and the film burns and everything. A lot of
practical work.
Yeah, a lot of practical work. A lot of like when Werewolf transforms, you don't actually watch him transform. It's off screen.
It's very in
shadow.
It's
in shadow, so that saves on budget and
no CGI, barely CGI because we did see his hands.
Right.
Yeah,
but it also makes your imagination do the work, like old school movies.
That's the thing, right? Because they had the limitations. The thing I think that kind of encapsulates my thoughts without getting into any of the actual specifics of the special was when Colin went to the bathroom after we were done watching it. I turned to Jacob and I was like,
I love you. Oh, no.
Aside from that.
Okay, all right.
Like, it didn't...
Marry me.
Like, it didn't make fun
Please appreciate my toes.
Like, it didn't make fun of Universal monster movies or try to be meta. It's not going...
I appreciated that.
There's a couple of, like, kind of modern humor jokes, but there's only a couple. The rest of the jokes are pretty well in line with what you'd expect in a Universal Monsters movie. Just because the director and composer, like, is really into those movies and he's wanted to make something like that for all of his life, that doesn't mean that it can't get screwed over in the editing room or the writing department. But they said, we're not going to try to be quote-unquote meta and dissect the Universal monster. They said, no, fuck it, we're going to make a Universal monster movie, and then they did it.
I appreciated that it was a movie that, it's not that, like, it took itself seriously, but it took itself, like, we are an actual movie.
Yeah.
We're not a meta commentary on characters and how people view these characters. We are a good movie.
Exactly.
And that's it.
Colin went to the bathroom. Spencer turned to me and said,
please clap.
Yeah. Like, I'm usually I usually prefer, everything to be, like, really high-minded and metatextual, but I think currently in superhero stuff, we have this big problem where everyone wants to be meta. They've forgotten how to make a good thing in the first place. You can't deconstruct something without having constructed it in the first place. You don't really get the right to, like, deconstruct heroes without having done it in the first place, like, having actual heroes. Like, that's something I've heard as a complaint about, like, Zack Snyder movies, which I understand. I don't agree with it.
I was just about to bring that up.
I get it.
Because I'm like, that doesn't...
It's
quickly,
a gut thing.
Quickly, the reason why it doesn't, in my opinion, count is because its purpose is to show you who they are supposed to be eventually.
Yeah.
Not as a, like, aha, these characters shouldn't be this way. And that's it. Right. No, it's supposed to give you eventually who these characters are and for you to relate to them more because you realize, oh, they are more human. Moving on.
But, like, something that Deadpool, a character that I think all of us like in various shades, really falls prey to. I really like
the second movie.
He falls prey to all the time is, like, just being a walking meme machine, and it's not even funny. Like, when people say, oh, Deadpool's for edgy 14-year-olds on Reddit, they're right. Like, that's the mainstream demographic for those books. And that sucks because he can be so much more than that, and he just usually isn't. And that's something that a lot of MCU properties in particular, I think, have kind of done is they want to be smart, but they don't put in any of the fucking effort. So they go,
Eternals.
You're dumb and gay.
I haven't seen it. No opinion.
There's a lot of them that just kind of fall to that, whereas they don't have the foundation to have like a good movie or a good character before they want to play around with it and be like, and then we'll stick him in this movie with all the other heroes, and then we'll contrast them with this, and then we'll have them go up against this. It's like,
how is my opinion dumb and gay? They tried to make a character-centric movie, and it was boring and dumb, and didn't really go anywhere. And they're trying to include the Eternals in the Eternals in everything else now.
I'm talking about the Eternals, the movie. I thought it was very good, and I liked it.
Colin, you've seen Deadpool 2 besides the time you got drunk on that weekend away?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you said at the drunk weekend away that you hadn't seen it before and you tried to watch it, but you definitely weren't paying attention near the end.
I watched it again.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
But
It's just something...
to be fair, I like it because of Cable.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It's just something that I think not all characters need to be really, like, overly complicated and metatextual. Sometimes it is okay to just have some characters be characters. Yeah, the one thing I was kind of freaking out about was I was nervous that they were gonna make like the werewolf transformation like very CG heavy, and it's definitely CG assisted, but it genuinely looks like a real prosthetic suit, and that makes me scream.
Probably is.
Like especially because he has like kind of normal legs, and it's just like a top suit with little tufts of fur hanging out of the pants.
And his face, he's got like hair glued to his face.
It looks so good.
I like it.
It's goofy. The Wolfman is my favorite of the Universal monsters.
I was just about to say, I love when werewolves look like Wolfman rather than just like wolf that's standing up.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I like them to look like. They look like almost unidentifiable creatures. They're just a weird blob of
it's
hair.
like Uncanny Valley.
Yeah, it's weird.
There we go. Uncanny Valley is my favorite type of thing.
It was cool that they did that mostly practically, and also just the general level of violence. I don't think a lot, like, there's definitely CG blood in there, but, like, it looks like a good amount of that was real fake blood, too, and that was nice. They got away with a lot of violence for basically a PG-13 thing, despite being an MCU property, because, like, it's black and white. They specifically came out and said, like, afterwards, they're like, yeah, so we kept putting in more and more blood until they told us to stop, and, like, they got away with a lot.
I like that.
That's fucking awesome.
It was really good.
So, Jacob said that it's mostly in black and white.
Yes.
And I like that we had the little tinge of red for a little bit.
I was going to talk about that.
So that we didn't get fully off guard when they showed us like color.
What the color is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when they're using the rock to blast Werewolf by Night, like the rock is red, but the zaps are still black and white.
I loved
how shitty the zaps looked. They looked like the hand penciled onto frame shit.
Exactly.
I love that.
I love that shit.
I also loved at the end of the movie when Elsa Bloodstone gets the bloodstone and the color bleeds into her jacket, and then we cut to an actual soft toned color cut of Werewolf by Night, like the night after waking up and Man-Thing is there.
It looks like it was meant to be reminiscent of like Technicolor when they had to like pencil the color onto frame. Like it's soft, but like it works, but the colors are really accentuated.
Yes.
There's lots of different shades of greens and browns, but like when there is color, it's bright as shit.
Can we talk about Man-Thing for 1 second?
Ted,
I love
Colin is Ted.
Yeah, I think I kind of am. So it's not something I just figured out, like, or like a new personality of mine, but like I love him because he's this dangerous motherfucking monster, and then this werewolf comes to help him all the time because he gets caught somehow because he's like not bright, or it's probably because he's just wholesome.
I thought
and
you were gonna say like one of your friends goes on a mad bender and you're there to make him breakfast in the morning.
Exactly.
Oh, me?
Yes.
I do that?
Yeah.
I help them with the...
Yeah.
Well, no, you're the one doing the bender, and then we make you breakfast.
Well,
but actually, I'm not really a bender kind of guy.
It's the vibe point. Holy shit! I'm specifics.
No, I know. Yeah, I'm either Ted or I'm the werewolf guy. Yeah.
I also really liked. I don't remember his name, but the actor that they cast as, what's his actual name? Jack.
Jack.
He's I think that character is the second of like the Marvel Comics Werewolf by Night. There's been a bunch of them. I really like the fact that they emphasize like his Hispanic heritage. Like there's clearly more to that. They're not just doing it for like the aesthetic. Although to be frank, it does mesh really well with the aesthetic of the movie. Like I don't know. It's nice. He wasn't, a quip machine. He's like he's a little goofy, but like he's not like a.
He's like a normal dude.
He's not I tripped over my own dick type of guy.
Yeah, no, he's literally just like looking for his buddy, and he's just kind of looking around and just doing his thing and being a nice guy.
He actually comes across like my favorite like werewolf protagonist, where it's like he is not even like an aggressive dude on his like real side. It's not even like, see, I got an undertone of violence. It's like, no, you just do violence. Like he's just a normal guy.
Yeah.
Who's like cursed. He's fucked up on this other end, and that's really nice. They did that well.
I like that because so whenever we see a cursed character in like a movie or a show, they're always so grungy and brooding. But there's a lot of us who are cursed, quote unquote cursed, and we have these like I don't know benders or like darker sides to us. But like we're just goofy. We are goofy, loving people. It's just sometimes shit happens.
Right.
And I like that. It does kind of feel like it's a recognition of those type of people do exist.
I have a point.
Yes.
Spencer has mentioned many times that it was the composer that made this movie. And he mentioned at the start of the movie that this guy made the Marvel Sting at the beginning with the freaking logo that shows up.
Yeah, there's been 3 or 4 Marvel Studios themes, and the most recent one they've had since, I think it was 2016.
For a long time.
That's the one that he wrote.
This movie has that sting, but it is, like, pitched up and sounds really off. I don't know if it's to set the spooky tone, or if it's because it's a special presentation, or just because it's his sting and he can do what he wants, but it was a really cool touch. Also, the music design through the whole movie was great.
The title card was amazing.
Yes.
And that's interesting to say because there were a lot of times when there was no music at all. Yep. They're just walking around the garden with no noise. It's really weird.
He feels confident in his own directing abilities. He doesn't feel the need to add music. And that's the thing, was because those older movies, they really relied on music because of the low quality filmmaking most of the time.
I think it was also a visual gag when they're about to go on the hunt. And it's really ominous, and there's this horn that's going, wah!
And then it's a tuba that's on fire.
It's a
I love that. Tuba.
It's like actually in world.
Yes. Marching the horn, the hunter to the hunting grounds.
I love that.
I think it's a visual gag. I think it's intentionally funny.
Oh, very much.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's intentionally funny, but I really like that, like, they mesh together. Like, yeah, so the music that you're hearing, it is actually going on
in
around
the world.
Yeah. I love when stuff like that happens. This movie, although I haven't seen, I'm not a huge horror buff. As much as I'd like to be.
Where my Evil Dead 1 and 2 reviews?
They're coming. I have free time tomorrow because no work, and I'm sick, so I can't really do anything. So, where was I going? Oh, so I'm not a huge horror buff, and I don't know much of the black and white horror. I will get to it eventually. But what I do know is black and white Batman and Robin. I watched those all the time as a kid.
The movie serials?
Yeah.
Those were great.
They're
great. So bad, but they're great.
Oh, and whenever someone shits on those costumes, I kind of get butthurt. Because
they were the first people to ever make costumes. Fuck you.
And I like them. I actually really like them.
They're derpy.
But that's mainly because my favorite... I don't care. My favorite Batsuit is forever the first ever Batsuit, and it's not just because of like a snob. There's just something that it just speaks to me.
It speaks to him. You heard it here first.
But
folks.
a lot of those like gags or like type of things was mainly a black and white thing, not just a black and white horror, but it's like a black and white. And I kind of felt those into this movie, and it was very nice.
It just in general had a lot more of a filmmaking first approach. The only bit of additional world building that direct connects to anything we've actually seen before is in the first shot shows some of the Avengers on like a cave wall. Like that's it. And the rest of it is like horror-centric world building about characters we've never seen in the MCU or heard of. It's just, oh look, so the Bloodstone family exists. That's a lot of stuff. Man-Thing exists. That's a lot. Like, it's just that, but it's just relevant to the special. It doesn't necessarily implicate anything else for later.
And I was just about to go into that, and just for a second, I like this movie a lot. Like, I actually think this is a great movie, especially because you can just watch this with other people that don't watch Marvel movies, and they'll like that. It's just a normal.
My dad will probably love this.
It's a horror. I could watch this. I could show this to Abby.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, she will actually watch a lot of stupid
but it's
shit
just
with
a
me.
thing you can...
But like, this is short enough too, where she'll be fine with it, and like, she can watch the whole thing and not get bored. And we could probably like even have this on in the background for like a Halloween.
This is gonna be a
Halloween party.
We're doing a Halloween party at some point. This is gonna be the background. So it was a real suit.
I kind of want to dress up as Man-Thing now.
You're not gonna be able to pull that off.
No. Unless if I spent all my money, which I can't, because I spent it all on Bionicles.
Overall, this was phenomenal.
It is in my top 20 movies now, I think.
Like,
Wow.
period?
Yeah, I think so.
Holy fucking
There's not that many. It's still being built up. I don't put that many movies in my top 20.
This is top tier MCU content by a long shot.
Yeah.
This is like reminiscent more so of Phase 1, not necessarily because of the tone or anything, but because of the filmmaking centric approach they had back then. It was make a movie, we'll string them together later, and then we'll build up to other stuff. Whereas once we get into Phase 2 and beyond, it does become a lot more world-building centric. This is real sets, real filmmaking cameras, like actual people on set with real costumes type shit. And it shows so strong. I'm gonna watch it again and again and again and again and again. Like, real good, real good. I'm not gonna say I had low expectations. I was not trying to build myself up over it, but like, very pleasantly surprised.
I'm a little concerned about how much they're going to take from this. How long before we see more Man-Thing? How long before we see more Elsa Bloodstone? Because she's in a lot of the crossover events.
True.
So
that is, yeah. I'm thinking. So obviously, I think when they decided to make this a special little presentation, like
they had to have been very intentional with Elsa at the very least.
Well, yeah, but I think that's just because she is a popular character in, like, that subsection.
Yeah.
Even though her comics are pretty much all ass. Not in the good way either. They're bad. They're just bad. Nope, they're bad.
Not good ass, they're badass.
Yeah.
No, wait.
I think they are going out on a limb. I genuinely think...
A Man-Thing limb?
Yeah, sure. I think they're going, we've worked with this composer a lot. We trust him. We think he's got the passion for it, and if this has a good response and it gets blown the hell up, then I think we can see more. But I don't think they necessarily plan to put any of these people in other properties unless it was well received. And I think that is how you should probably build most of this sort of stuff. None of this character is in 5 things this phase. Like, we will put him in somewhere if you guys like him, and we can make him plot relevant later.
Honestly, that's what the Disney Plus shows should be. It's
exactly
what should have happened with Moon Knight. I don't have.
I think that's what they're doing. I do think that is what they are doing with Moon Knight.
Yeah.
But like, we don't know.
This is better. A better case of it.
Yes,
I think
for sure.
we should move on.
I think if we do see anything else like this again, it would probably be, if we get an additional season of Moon Knight, it would probably have a faster turnaround than more specials. But I want new holiday specials every year. I want a Halloween one, I want a Christmas one, and I want a New Year's special. Every fucking year, let's go.
And a Thanksgiving sing-along, for frig's sake.
That'd be great. Dude, I want Captain America in an apron cooking me Thanksgiving dinner.
Stop. Let's move on.
Should we do the other Marvel thing or the other Star Wars thing?
We should probably do the Star Wars thing because we're going to inevitably scream about the Marvel thing too much.
Okay,
I have no notes on this.
I have a note.
Why do I feel like it's the note that I have? So,
okay, Hold on. I want to say my note real quick.
No, I want to get to the actual thing so they know what the fuck we're talking about.
Fine.
So
Andor. And
so yeah,
Andor.
The 5th episode of Star Wars Andor came out. What?
He was shaking his head at me.
Spit it out.
Okay, and what's the plot?
Okay, so it's basically all the build-up. It is the if this was a heist movie, this would be the, and then we're gonna go over here and we're gonna do the thing, and then you're gonna go through this door. That's what this episode is. This is the night before they do the big heist in the middle of the season.
So you know the young guy, right?
Yep. That's me. I know.
The youngest guy.
Yeah.
his device that he's showing Andor.
That's
an SX70 Polaroid camera.
Yeah.
That they remodeled.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
That is some old... Okay, so it's not the note I had, but that is some old school Star Wars, like...
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what George did.
Yep.
And that's what
I noticed that. I was watching it like, wait a minute! That's just an SX70 painted black.
I thought it was a camera, I just wasn't 100% sure, but that's like... We're going back to Phantom Menace era, like...
Colin is in a sweater doing, like, the thug pose with his shoulders and
Colin's so
elbows.
proud.
Like,
And my front teeth are showing.
I'm so happy for Colin. Like, we haven't seen...
I know cameras, bitch.
We haven't seen this type of reuse of assets since
Episode
Phantom
1.
Menace.
Yeah! With the stupid, like...
The Jedi communicator was a repurposed women's razor handle.
Yeah, or when we saw C-3PO for the first time hanging up there
And
was
there
like
were,
those stupid plastic like ball throwers.
Yeah. That is something... I like the fact that a lot of the stuff recently, like, they make their own props for their own designs. That's cool. But it is nice to see
you know the little communicator that Anakin was looking at? That's a Nintendo Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Colin knows his ball throwers.
I do know my ball throwers. St. Paul's sweat ball.
Ball sweat.
Sweat ball. It rhymes with Paul. Sweat ball.
It's nice to see...
Sorry.
It's nice to see that sort of stuff every once in a while. It's a little reminiscent of the real worldness. And that's something that I think this show is really nailing, is the fact that they have a blaster that's modeled very directly. It's clearly a painted AK-47 airsoft rifle, but like it's inspired by that. And it's like, it just gives the show a lot more of an actual
practicality,
real world feel. And like, that's always used as a buzzword, and I get that. But I don't know. The thing, my bigger notes on this show, aside from the fact that cereal is now canon to Star Wars. My boy was literally eating cereal.
I was eating cereal while I was watching that. I'm like, oh!
Yeah. The thing that I'm really liking about this current form of whatever you want to call it, I would hesitate to call it the rebellion yet. I would call it the revolution. Whatever the fuck you want to call it. These people are clearly real people. They all have different motives, and they are coalition building. Using my real world terms, they're not just, we're all down for this one point. Like, they are using the cause for their own motives, but they're willing to work together because they have a common goal.
Correction, the rebellion does exist, but they are not the rebellion. They are just
They are basically terrorist cells, if you want to be specific.
They are just separate terrorist cells. They're not the rebellion.
No, the main
They're not even connected to the rebellion.
They kind of are, because if you... The main head
of Mothman.
Yeah, Mothman, yeah. So, in my mind anyways, with my current understanding of the current Disney lore, is Bail would be the proper, like, capital R rebellion.
Yes.
Mothma eventually is, but, like, she is through other people doing the dirty shit.
Yeah, she does.
She is as close to Saw as...
Yeah.
They reference Saw, I believe, in this show. We are going to be seeing him at some point. Like,
of course.
When they talk about Saw in Rogue One, and they're like, he went off the deep end. Like, we don't associate with that anymore. That's kind of what Mothma's doing right now, and I think she's going to move away from that because she is kind of getting lost in the cause. Like, she's neglecting her family, despite the fact that her husband is a bootlicking coward. She is neglecting her family.
Her family's kind of shitty.
I actually didn't get that. I felt like they were like. So when I was watching this, I don't know if I wasn't paying attention enough, but when I was watching it, I'm like, am I missing something? Is she there? It feels like they're writing this as she's like a bitch.
No, like,
but like also her family seems like they're privileged, rich assholes.
Well, that's part of it.
And I got the vibe that the daughter was being fed bullshit from her dad to hate her mom.
So. I agree with you, but it's part of the equation. It's the way I took it mostly is the daughter doesn't trust her enough to like take what Mothma was doing as like a sign of goodwill. Like, she's like,
which makes sense because daddy's little girl.
Right, and that's
also,
part of it.
Teenage girls hate their moms for a period of time.
That too. And it's like, it's not...
While they're on their period!
Obviously, it's a very complicated situation, but I do think the fact that, like, she's clearly not communicating anything, and if she is with someone that she can't trust over the cause, then that is not just a him problem, that is also a her problem. That is still her choice to be with someone that she, whether by, a long-standing marriage or, like, whatever, that is a two-sided problem. It's not just he's a bootlicker and a loser, which he is.
But
like
he's a cuck.
she's still with him despite the fact that if we're gonna be real world about this, when push comes to shove, he's going on the guillotine. So that's her problem too. She needs to sorting her shit out.
Yeah.
There's no action in this at all.
Nope.
There is a TIE fighter flying overhead. That is it. And I really liked that moment where the TIE fighters are flying through the valley because it's just there is, I think it was a book at some point. There's a quote that this reminded me of. Basically, like people would just go out in their planes in like occupied areas. It's just intimidation. It's just, yeah, we're still here. We're still in charge. Fuck you. That's it. The TIE fighters are just going out because the TIE fighters are scary in this show.
Yeah, they are.
They're loud and abrasive, and they fly really close to the ground. And like, that's scary.
So I'm gonna be that pretentious fuck
Because Spencer isn't doing it right now. Not enough anyway.
Not just that, but I've been showing people the show, and I've been telling them to watch the show, and then they come back to me and they're like, it's just boring to me, and it truly shows to me that like, oh, you're not really a Star Wars fan, which that is such a bad thing to say, but like
it's a gut. It's like
I feel both sides. If I could watch the whole show in one piece, I'd be good, but taking it weekly is getting slow.
So I can understand that. That just means that
the political intrigue doesn't interest me as much. It's essential for Star Wars, absolutely. I'm not saying this is a bad Star Wars show at all. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying I'm getting bored. It's getting slower. I want something to happen.
I think
they're just doing the setup.
I get what Colin. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
My thing is when I think the same thing. I get like, oh, you're not a. It's like it's disappointing.
It is.
Not like
I thought you were like as much a Star Wars fan as I was, because like I like Star Wars this much.
Right, and it's like I could talk to
whatever. It just pisses me off when people can only watch Star Wars if there's lightsabers in it.
We've been over this. We're not talking about that. The point being, in general, with other things like this as well, when it's like, oh, it's like when Daredevil came out, and people were like, the people that like cape shit, and they're like, oh, I can't do it. It's like, it's just too boring. It's like I get the idea. I'm not gonna say like if it's like opinions aren't always just immediately valid because they're opinions, but like if your opinion's based on reality, like that's fine, like whatever, it's an opinion. But like it's a gut feeling, like I don't want to argue with people about it. It just makes me sad for them. Like I kind of pity. Me
too. I do pity them.
I pity that type of brain rot.
I pity you, Jacob.
I don't pity Jacob. Jacob's fine.
I'm kidding.
Jacob is just
fine.
Jacob is just a goofy goober. Moving on to more goofy goober shit.
I'm gonna beat Spencer to it. They used the Daredevil sting. Haha.
So She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, episode 8, the penultimate episode for this season. Jen gets laid by someone who isn't horrible, and Daredevil.
Daredevil didn't. This is what I really like. He didn't get the green.
No,
he got the Jen, and that made me happy. Yeah. So I'm like, he just likes Jen.
Yes,
he doesn't need the She-Hulk because he likes Jen.
Also, this proves a 3-year-old theory. The theory has become law. Catholics are whores.
Well, yes.
I told you, this is the only Catholic I can stand or like. I hate Catholics. I will not redact that statement.
No.
All of you Catholics are whores, and you can take it up with me next Free Comic Book Day. Have a nice day.
I laughed a lot at Frogman. Not to just be all like I don't want to
rip it.
I don't want to just talk about Daredevil. Like I like the show. I liked this episode aside from Daredevil. He's obviously key to it, but like the Frogman stuff was all funny. Like my note says Lamau Frogman retard. Like he's a fucking dipshit.
He is. It's like he's not reading instructions.
He's the definition of a rich kid.
Yes, because also he didn't tell Jen everything too.
No, of course not.
Of course he
Why
didn't.
would you tell your lawyer all the important details?
What'd you put in fuel in that? Jet fuel. He thinks he's so cool.
I had the same note. This episode got many, many lulls from me. Like the scene the morning after when Jen is like, it feels like this episode should be over, right? And she was in my head.
She was in my head.
She was in my head. And then
I literally paused it to look at like the time of like
Matt's head was in her though.
Yes. Well, the satisfying conclusion crack is funny.
Oh my gosh. There's a one frame. I sent it in the group chat. The look she has when she's telling you the sex was really good was fucking hysterical.
I love that.
She's like, I had a really good time. It's like, Okay, so you nutted 5 times.
Yeah,
okay, we get it.
I love that Matt was doing the walk of shame, but it wasn't even the walk of shame. It was a walk of pride for him. He was like prideful, and he had no shoes on. He went barefoot. He's like,
I like the fact that
made a girl come 5 times, guys.
It's in the broad daylight. Like
I found the clitoris, guys.
Oh, Matt knows where the clitoris is. He always has. He was born with that knowledge.
Right. He's got sonic. He's got echolocation. He can locate where the clitoris is.
Another crack I enjoyed was that she says something about the show being left on a cliffhanger, or she's gonna get fridged. Like,
that was funny.
This show is great. It's so funny. It's an actual funny comedy.
Yeah, this one got a lot. I did have to pause it because I was laughing so much on a few of the jokes. Like when Jen rips off Matt's helmet, and he's like, no, and she pulls it off, and he's like,
just hanging there like a little
and he's just like, when he stands there, just like, when the Daredevil theme starts playing, my goosebumps go up, my hair is on edge, and I'm about to nod, and he's like, I'm Daredevil. And I was like, and then she's like, I don't know who the fuck that is. Like, and then the theme dies. Like, they used it for a really good gag, and he's just defeated. And he's like,
Daredevil?
And he's like, there's a 7-year gap between the end of Daredevil season 3 and where this is in the timeline.
Right.
That's a long time. So like, he's so depressed. He's such a good sport about
7 years?
When she rips the cowl off, my jaw hit the floor. I was like, what? Like, so good.
The balls.
Yes.
Oh, wait, you're talking about in movie?
Yes.
Wait, how long has it been? When did season 3 come out?
2007. It was 18, yeah. So the Daredevil season 3, it canonically takes place like moments before Infinity War, and then we have the 5 years, and then it's been just about 2 years in universe post blip.
Okay. Anyway, moving on.
So that was.
I have more notes.
Yeah, no, I have plenty of notes.
No, I mean moving on from the map.
It just he's so defeated, but like he's such a good sport. I like how they take jabs back and forth. They have, I'm sorry, they have better chemistry than like anybody else I've seen on screen recently. Yeah. And some of it, of course, is editing and music and all that stuff. But like they're both fucking dweebs.
They are.
They're like, no, you're more stupid. No, you're more stupid.
I think there was one point where both of them at one point say, "Yeah, that's a good point," and like, yeah.
They just hang out well. Like,
I love how the whole time that she was talking to him, she's like, "Are we all filming this? We filming this right now?" And I love that he even got a little nervous. Like after, like he was trying to say bye, he got a little. That was like genuine. Like he actually got a little flustered. And I'm like, my boy, my rizzed up boy, getting flustered. Whoa, he likes this girl.
I watched it twice, back to back, and both times when she's like, "Are we feeling this?" I'm yelling, "Yes, we feel this! Let's go!"
Yeah,
I can feel it throbbing up against the edge of my jeans. Like, it's good. Let's go.
It's funny because she's like he's nervous for this dork. Where every time he gets with all these models and he's never nervous. Yeah, but he gets with a total dork.
Except with Karen, he was nervous with Karen, and that didn't work out. That's why I'm okay with this ship because he did break Karen's trust. Like, they couldn't be partners anymore. No. They work together, and they are greatest of friends.
Yeah.
So, like,
I'm okay with them not being together.
I want this to be a long-term thing, I swear to God.
Hold on. Didn't we, a couple weeks ago, did he not say that he's
I want to say it was last week.
I think it was last week, actually. He was like, I hope this is not a long-term thing. This is a short-term thing.
Matt and Karen for life.
All the way. And now, he's actually had to rethink it rather than feeling his dick.
Simp.
Yeah.
Simp.
But no, because I was like, wow, Spencer is so fucking wrong. And then I thought to myself for a second, holy shit, if I think he's wrong, he's probably thinking the same thing. And he's going to tell me that he wants this to be a long-term thing. I literally thought that.
He's in your head.
It's true.
No, we just have the same dick.
That too.
Wait, do we have small dick or big dick?
I'm not answering that question.
Wait, we're just average now.
Oh my God. I present every time, if we continue getting more She-Hulk stuff, every season of She-Hulk, Matt takes a long-distance trip over to LA.
Yeah, they're a long-distance relationship.
We get them having a night out. We get a date. They gotta, sort out a heist or something. And then they goof off. They fuck. He goes home. It's a nice little goofy adventure for Matt. And then, every time Daredevil gets a new season, we get Jen going to New York.
Yeah!
And then she can be less fourth wall breaky and be very serious the whole time. So we have contrast for both of them.
That'd be great.
It would be fucking awesome.
I would love that. Oh, it would be so nice if
that happens in the comics a lot.
A lot.
No, you know what? I really like that in that scene where he's like, yeah, maybe we can go on a date because he's just being like a nice, nice Catholic boy. And then he's like, or we can just skip to the good part. And he's like,
so funny.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that little moment when they were like sitting in front of the billboard was really nice. Yeah. It's great. The action was fine. I'm not expecting anything stupendous because it's a comedy show.
I was expecting more of dialogue from Daredevil rather than action. I didn't care for that action.
The initial scene on the roof was very CG and like ADR heavy.
Yeah.
But it was fine. Like he's doing a little flippy flip. He's doing a little flippy flip.
He did a couple of.
He seems way more acrobatic
intensity.
than normal, and I'm taking it.
I think we talked about this when Hawkeye came out. The decision to like slightly amp up the people coming over from Netflix's like power levels because they have the budget for it makes sense. Because in the Netflix shows were mostly limited by budget and practical sets. Like they couldn't have Luke demolish a whole building because they needed that building for like other action sequences. So they kind of scaled it down. But now they have the budget to do more CG flippy flips and then also make Fisk like take a car to the gut. It makes sense. I like it.
My favorite was when she did the clothesline and he basically fell over backwards to avoid it. That was a great shot.
I just liked the fact that while Jen's dealing with all the legal stuff, because she's like, you're my client, and like she's rescuing.
Yeah, and he's helping.
And Daredevil is just in the background, just like,
like he's like fighting, but he's also talking to her. He's like, yeah, you could also do this. And she's like, he's really doing it for me. Because she's talking about law. Oh my god.
They're having such a little ball. The scene in the hallway, it was
That
nice.
was their date. They didn't need to have it go on another date.
Exactly.
That was their date.
I appreciated the fact that they did put it in the hallway for the meme, you know?
Yeah.
But I liked the fact that they didn't have to try to make it like some uber insane action. It was like either the stunt guy or it could be Charlie Cox because he does a lot of his own stuff too. Like they did the fight was fine, the editing was rough, and like then She-Hulk smashed in, probably killed those guys for the joke. Like it's poking fun at the Daredevil show as being very overly serious, but it's not saying that that's wrong. It's just pointing out that it is goofy. It's the same thing when we're sitting here talking about like, you know, Robert Pattinson Batman is like an autistic dweeb.
Yes.
And it's like, it's true. That doesn't mean I don't take it any less seriously, but like, yeah, he's a dramatic whore. It's funny.
That's what's great. That's why it's so good and probably like relatable because
Exactly.
we're all dramatic in our own ways. And also, you know he's dramatic, and he's a little boy because you pointed this out to me when we were on a walk talking about our feelings, and you were talking about how short his cape was, which is such a like.
It's a little boy thing.
Yes, I didn't realize that. He's a little boy with his blankie as a cape.
Exactly.
And I'm like, holy shit, he's 10-year-old me.
Yep.
And I'm like, whoa.
As you're talking about suits, I can't believe you haven't brought up Daredevil's
Yellow
my
and
other
red
point.
suit.
I agree with Jen. The color scheme is disgusting. I like that we saw it. I don't want to see it again.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
I love this suit.
Fuck you.
You're
a man whore. Fuck you.
I want the full red jumpsuit. I want them to be now that they don't have to have the uber armored look because he's dealing with like really serious stuff. Like the new show is going to be a little bit lighter than the Netflix stuff. I think they can go with a little bit more of like a Batfleck type suit.
I was gonna say he wants the Batfleck suit
not
again.
Not the texture, not like in the general
bright red Lego block red.
Yeah. I want the crimson, not this maroon. I love the maroon and black suit.
I'm not against that. I'm not against that. The thing is, stop with the toy shit. Because it's just, oh, he's got a new suit. Oh, no other purpose than just to make toys.
I agree with you that that's annoying and dumb. My point is,
let's have at least one fucking season, because the whole point is that his Daredevil suit got stolen. Now Daredevil's got a bad reputation, and the whole point is, hey guys, I'm the real Daredevil. You can tell I'm good because I have a new suit and it's brighter colors. Ha ha ha! That's the whole fucking point.
I understand that's what they're saying. I agree with you. It's important. The thing with that does make me kind of black out and be like, that's a bit silly. Is it's been 7 years, and maybe he got blipped for those 5. Maybe he was gone. He was gone. So like, it's a little unnecessary now. I don't care. It's fine. I'm just saying. The yellow doesn't look that great in motion for me, and I do have one gripe about the costume because they did change one thing. I hate the plate in front of the neck, the like neck wraparound thing. The neck has always been the hardest part to nail on his suits. In the first season, the neck piece was kind of weird, so they changed it like in season 2. so it fit better because he had to wear it more frequently.
It wasn't hard for Jen to nail.
True. That was not
Wow,
hard for her to nail.
you literally have autism, because I'd never noticed that.
Like,
and I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
In the end of season 1, they kind of had to rush the production on the suit because they needed it faster than they thought.
It's open.
It's right, because they needed it for the fight choreography. If you look at the one that Matt wears in some shots, it is like the neck is higher up, and then for the stunt suit, it's lower. But in season 2, they tweak it a little bit, so it looks really good in season 2 and in the Defenders, and when Dex wears it in season 3. But this suit is almost identical, but they add like a wraparound neck collar, and I don't like it because it's so wide. Like it's as wide as his head is, and it looks weird. I don't dig that. That bothered me during multiple scenes. It's a gripe. It's a personal gripe. It's the one thing. It's cool to see. Whatever.
We get it. We get it. You're gay and you're autistic and you understand clothing and shit because you're gay.
I have one last...
As if you're not the one who usually autistically obsesses over minor costume differences.
Purple gloves mean something!
Can I please have my last point?
Yeah.
I've been meaning to talk about this the whole show. I was very surprised when there was no, like, basic theme song or anything for this show. They just do a title card, which they've played with a lot, and I've already talked about how I like that. But they have the generic Marvel superhero music at the end for the pretty end credits, and those mostly stay the same, but there are a few unique artwork pieces
per episode
for every episode. And
Daredevil's
really
was
like
so
that.
cute.
Yes.
He's just whistling with little hearts above his head. It's so cute. I love that.
I love, like, I don't need an end credit scene. I love the attention to detail in the end actual credits.
We only had a couple end credits.
It was the first 4, I think. They said it was going to be all of them. They lied. I don't care. I agree. I think the effort being put into the doodles is way better. It just feels nice. It also ages better. I don't want rewatch post-credit scenes 99% of the time. I will rewatch the credits if it has nice artwork.
Yes.
A solution. Colin, I extend an olive branch to you, you yellow and red suit lover, which is fine. I agree. I love the yellow and red suit. That's the one he takes on his vacations to go visit Jen. There we go. It's in the Light and Silly TV show. He gets to wear it for a specific purpose because it's fun. It contrasts against her green and purple. There you go. That's his travel suit. It's his travel suit.
The whole point. Okay, you know what? You know what I can live with? First 4 or first 5 episodes of his new show. That's it.
Yeah,
I can live with that.
We all know they're going to destroy it and make another one. Yes. Like, we know, which is fine.
I'm fine with that.
And
your olive branch doesn't sound bad.
It's a compromise.
Doesn't make sense.
Nothing makes sense.
That's not fucking true! Fine, fuck it. He's all black, give him purple gloves. Fuck it.
I'd be down.
Yes! I like this.
Why am I down with that too, actually?
I would love the Shadowland suit, just don't do Shadowland because that was bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
My only other point, I think, maybe, I might just be reading into it, I think they test ran a new theme jingle for Daredevil because they used a little, like, the like, they did that, like, 3 or 4 times when Daredevil was on screen, and then they used his old theme for a comedic gag, which was great, and I loved it. It wasn't disrespectful, like, whatever. I think they might shift it for the new show. It's just an idea. I'm not saying... I'm okay with it because I do like the new one. The OG credit opener is god tier. I will rip my face off if you ever skip it. But if they want to go with something new and they, like, kind of want it to... You're dumb and gay.
No, because I watched every single time for the first season.
But it's slightly different each season.
I don't have... What do you mean it's slightly different?
The end bits between the...
Oh, you mean the music's different?
Yeah, it's a little different.
I thought the visuals get different.
No, the visuals are the same.
Never mind, that doesn't matter to me.
Well, that's whatever. I'm just saying, it's an idea. I might be entirely wrong, and they just wanted cool music.
Fucking time for that. That thing's like an hour.
So cool.
It is so cool, but it's an hour fucking long.
I still don't understand how they did it.
What
looks
if we
so
get,
cool.
Digital effects are great.
Yes.
What if, just speculation, we do get, maybe they keep the old theme jingle, but they make new visuals for the new show. We get
And it's yellow.
Exactly, it's yellow.
So you're fine with that, but a red yellow suit, huh?
But then when we get to the second half of Born Again, when he definitely has an all-red suit, then they go back to red.
Well,
or then they can do them in black.
This episode has been sponsored by our two patrons, Jeff Lawrence and Caitlin. They were super cool and went to patreon.com/dimecomicbros and they signed up under one of the 3 preset tiers. Colin is grabbing my toe. This has become an ASMR episode.
Can I crack them?
Yep.
Oh, no pull.
No.
No, you don't like the pull?
Oh.
Okay, hold on.
That usuly cracks it. But... Oh, that actually felt good.
I know, right?
Get out of here. Stop.
Ready?
No.
You're ready to come? I know how to crack toes real well. Abby hates when I pull on her toes, so I do it.
That's great. I love it when women tell you to not do a thing and then you do it anyways.
No, it's okay with certain things. Not with sex. But with, like, don't tickle me! You tickle them, you know?
Everyone does that with
All
me.
right.
Please cut that out.
Well, no, I'm going to leave it in, and I'm going to say definitely don't go to patreon.com and give us money.
Yes.
Yes. Don't do the thing we're telling you to not do. Yeah. Right.
But
anyway,
don't suck on my toes.
Also,
Jeff.
don't go to Jetpack Comics and Games in downtown Rochester, New Hampshire, because they are really cool and helpful people. They know their comic books. They've got so much stuff. I cannot help but buy something every time I'm in there, and that's why I have to stop going.
That's why I haven't gone for, like, I don't know, 3 weeks or so.
I made Rich blush.
Nice.
Whoa, how?
Because he was bitching on Twitter about how hot it was that one day that got like 80 degrees. And then, all the rest of the staff in the comments. And I'm like, it's because the earth is blushing because you exist.
You are such a...
I couldn't help myself.
Fuck you.
It was a great spot.
Fuck you for making Dad blush.
But I like him to blush because it's funny. And it is making the earth blush and it's making it warmer. It's great. Colin's about to turn around and rip ass, isn't he?
Next week is a news week. He shit himself.
I did.
Next
no,
week,
I have to piss.
Next week...
There's no smell! I didn't shit!
I'm sure that you just don't wipe your ass. You stink.
Fuck you! That is the most disrespectful thing you have ever told me in my entire life. I'm gonna go smear my ass all over your bed. Bye!
Next week is a news episode as well as the the final episode of this season of She-Hulk. The next episode of Andor, episode 6.
And do a powerbomb.
Yes, do a powerbomb issue 5. I believe. I think it's 5.
Okay.
We're going to run with it's 5. And we're going to talk about all those things and not more. Just those things. Just all of those things. And then we will... Colin is dying. And then we will leave your ears and go away and die forever.
Not forever, though. Just for a week.
Just for a week. Goodbye. Get out of my house.
No, we're going to go play Turtles now.
No, we got to do happy hour, then we play Turtles. When it comes to like a really flat wooden chair like this, if I'm gonna sit here for long periods of time without moving, I kind of have to like flatten out my ass to make it like comfortable.
We can tell. We can see how flat your ass is right now.
It's very weird.
When the fuck did that get there?
Grayson put it up this week.
He's such a fucking old man.
I like it.
Is.
It was either going in here or in the dining room, but we decided it didn't fit the dining room vibe. So whenever we get something better for the big dining room wall, we'll put it in there. But it works better in here.
I do like that.
I like it too. He got it from his parents' house.
Dang.
Well, yeah. I mean, my grandmother has literally the same painting, but I mean, like, wow, old fucks. Okay,
that's a good blooper to put at the end. Just to put in my input on the editing. Just in general, the one of the things I was screaming during this movie.
Yeah.
I'm just making a suggestion
When
for the
is
editing room.
Dime Gaming Bros coming out?
Shut up! You try editing that monstrosity the day after we record it. Jen, rips off.
Wow.